Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
Bonjour, I'm Ryan.
Hey, look at that. You know French?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
this is the English podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into today's movie, you can mosey on over to our Patreon page. Mosey is a French word, I think. Um, yeah,
Mosaic.
Mose, yeah, good. Yeah, there we go. And you can check out our Patreon, Drive and Double Feature Podcast, over there just for $5 a month. You help support the show, and you get free bonus content, or free bonus content. No, you get bonus content over there.
You got to pay up for that bonus content.
Yeah, we just talk about movies. We rank things. A lot of the similar stuff here, but a little more loose, and it's a lot of fun. But getting into today's movie, we're talking about 2002's Demonlover, which is a French movie starring Connie Nielsen, Chloe Sevigny, Gina Gershon. It's directed by Olivier Assayas, and Ryan kind of threw us both into this one. I'm just to be transparent with our audience. I read the plot description. I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I threw it out for us to watch. How was your experience?
Well, Nathan, I still feel like I haven't absorbed this movie enough.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I feel like I was just slapped in the face a bunch.
Yeah. So I think this is funny. This might be the closest from watching to recording for both of us because I just finished this movie maybe like 2 hours before we sat down here and we're recording. And I
I
think you
finished it
just
about 30 minutes ago.
yeah, so we are in this together. So just to put it into perspective, Demonlover is a corporate espionage thriller about well, I should say one anime company that runs demonlover.com.
I don't think the anime
Yeah,
company owns Demonlover. I think that
sorry, you're
that was
right, you're right.
that was an American company.
Yeah, sorry, this movie is a lot and it was a lot to put the plot together.
So
But you're right.
just like that one movie, Toys and Giants, it's like the most important thing in the world is apparently candy. This
Uh-huh.
one, apparently, the most important thing in the world is Japanese hentai.
Yeah,
Uh,
so yeah, it is this American
there,
company that's just looking to buy this hentai company that's been around for what, like 20 years, and like, but they are getting into 3D hentai, and yeah.
Nathan, can you explain hentai to our audience?
Imagine Japanese cartoons, but it's porn. If you haven't noticed already, I have to put a warning on this. This movie is I guess it's more if you watched it. I was not expecting to just see full clips of this stuff while I was watching the movie. I was just sitting back and I was like, oh, I'm just watching hentai right now.
And these scenes are very, very long,
Very
and
long.
it's not like they. So I mean, just getting into it. I mean, there's some of these scenes are just way too long. I mean, like I would
Mhm.
have gotten the same effect out of that scene had they just done like a flash
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it. I'm like, okay, I get it. They're looking at pornographic images or movies, but no, it's like, no, let's show you a full scene from hentai that has something that, I mean, I really don't want to describe, but basically it's a woman being assaulted sexually,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's they show everything. I mean, there's nothing left to the
No,
imagination.
it's not soft core. It's full on, and I get what
Oh,
the
don't
movie.
worry. Oh, don't
Oh
worry. We
yeah.
do get some softcore porno scenes later in the movie because they do watch softcore porn.
Yeah, and see, I get this I get what this movie's trying to do, and I mean, I was just reading up on it. It's about being desensitized. Like
Yeah.
you're seeing all this stuff, and it's supposed to be like, oh, I'm just taking it in. It's like I'm not even worried about what's going on screen. Um, I don't know about you, Ryan. I thought I would like this movie, and it feels like a movie that I would like. I actually thought this movie was really boring, surprisingly. I thought it was way too long, and the plot, I could not piece a lot together personally.
I was piecing it together towards the end, but my God, this movie takes its time, and
Yeah.
this is a 2 hour long movie, so it's not like 90 minutes or whatever. But so like
Hmm.
the plot of this movie does not kick in until probably like an hour into this movie.
No.
Like halfway point is probably where it's like, okay, now we're going to start telling you what's going on. And
Exactly. Yeah.
because I mean the beginning scene is a woman. I mean, there's a woman getting drugged, and she gets these files taken away, and then this other woman gets put in charge of this woman's accounts, and
Hmm.
then basically it's just them brokering this deal between this Japanese company. You don't even find out what this Japanese company is until like 30 minutes into the movie.
No, that the whole reveal of like this being about like porn and everything, it doesn't happen. It feels like just a normal corporate movie for the first 30 minutes. And it's like, oh yeah, we got to make a deal with the Japanese, and like there's like a bunch of different languages. And I mean, like honestly, that's only a small bit of the movie for a
It
little
is.
bit. Yeah. Uh it honestly kind of forgets about that and delves into even darker territories than that.
I,
Um,
I was worried for. I was really worried, during like the business meeting scene when they started
yeah.
talking about like,
Yes, yeah.
by the way, we're going to have a clause put in this contract that if there's any minors depicted in this, then we want this contract to be voided. And the Japanese people are like, oh no, that
It's
never happened.
fantasy.
It's fantasy, and they're like, okay, well, just to be clear, no
I
minors. And I'm
I thought
like,
that was so funny because like he's like, hey, no minors, like multiple times.
that was the only part I thought was like kind of funny, and because
Mm,
I was like, okay, they're making a
yeah,
really big point, but I was a little worried because I'm like, is this foreshadowing? Because I'm really
yeah,
gonna be upset if I see
yeah.
that.
And luckily, it was not foreshadowing.
Right.
There was another bit that made me laugh. So they do meet up with another American partner, and they're talking about all of the websites that they own, and it's like Stars Nude and stuff like that. And then she just says so nonchalantly, I think, or no, it's another guy there listing off the websites, and he's like, Laura Croft sexslave.com. And I laughed. I was like, what? What is this? And then she's just explaining it. Yeah, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, the
Raider.
video game.
And I'm like, oh, that's why Nathan picked this movie. He
Yes,
loves Tomb Raider.
yeah, I do. I mean, I do love Tomb Raider. And we do see a lady dressed up in a Tomb Raider cosplay towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's that whole thing, but
Yes, yeah,
which we'll get into later. But
yeah.
that what I did like. It's like Stars Nude, where you could see Stars naked, and they're just like, but unfortunately, like we're getting sued for that, so now it's just celebrity lookalikes who are naked.
Yeah, and that's where we exist today in 2023. You can never see a celebrity naked on the internet. It just
Mm.
lookalikes.
No, but I
Um,
mean, now you could go just into Chat GBT and just say, I want to look at this person naked, and then there you go.
it's like, okay, gotcha. We got to take care of. It's funny. This movie doesn't even go there. No AI or nothing. Wow, it didn't have its finger on the pulse, I guess.
This movie
Uh,
is 20 years old. Can you believe that?
I know. I can't believe that. Chloe Sevigny's in this, and she's super she's super young in this, and she speaks French in this movie. And I was like, oh, she knows French or something. No, she didn't. She doesn't know French. She just had to learn it for this movie. She's interesting, but not in it a lot. She's kind of like a young and up and comer, because the way the movie plays out, I do like the dynamic. The main lady, Connie Nielsen, is a spy from another like company, and is going in and kind of killing people. Well, not intentionally, but just trying to break things up from within. But her one business partner and Chloe Sevigny both know. They pretty much know what's going on with her, and they use that kind of like blackmail. And
Yeah.
it's like they're playing off of each other.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's revealed, like you said, that Diane is her name.
Yes, yeah.
Connie Nielsen's character is working for Mangatronics,
Yep.
and and goes out of her way to kind of screw up this whole deal and make sure that any sensitive information gets into Mangatronics' hands. And but then it turns out, because Chloe Sevigny was the assistant for Karen, the girl who got mugged and
Hmm.
in the beginning scene of the movie, and because of that, now she's Diane's assistant, and they don't get along. They're kind of bickering back and forth with each other, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of spoilers that are probably going to happen. But and the
Yes, yeah.
twist of this movie is that Chloe Sevigny and Karen were actually both working for
Yep.
Demonlover. They also had Demonlover had a site that they disavowed, but they also owned, called the Hellfire Club. And I was like, oh, I love X-Men. And
Oh yeah, and that this changed your whole perspective on it.
yeah,
See, that I really wish, because it takes so long to get to this reveal, so long, and I'm tired, and like it may sound interesting, but I feel like we are skipping a lot of just dialogue scenes that kind of don't go many places. But I really wish it maybe went like 8 millimeter. Have you ever seen that movie, the Nicolas Cage movie?
I
Uh,
haven't.
that one's about like snuff movies, and I wish it would have maybe gone more into that territory, going more into Hellfire and like what's going on there, because I think the fluff with the hentai company and all that just isn't. I don't think it really serves a purpose other than to just shove that into your face for way too long.
It's just it's hard to relate to it now because I guess it's supposed to be like oh, hentai, like, I guess 2002 people didn't know about that much
Yeah,
or whatever, and
yeah,
you're like, oh, can you believe Japan's making this type of stuff? And but 20 years later it's like, oh yeah, of course I know. But
yeah, yeah.
it's supposed to be, I get it, like you said, oh, desensitizing to these like shocking images
And
that you could just see it in your fingertips.
I guess what you're saying is like the themes of the movie. I guess they kind of are true. Then in a way, it's like, yeah, I know what this is. Like, I know, I've seen this before, and it's like,
it, I have, yeah, but it's like, still though, it's like, did I need to see all that stuff in
no,
here?
no,
No, I got the picture. I got what you're trying to say, and because
yeah,
there's some very other violent stuff that happens later in the movie, and
hmm,
I just the part that frustrates me about the movie itself is that they had that really long thing with them brokering the deal, and I'm just like, okay, like I get, like I was kind of over it at that point. I'm like, let me just move on. And then the movie started picking up a little bit of steam, and it had the dynamic of like Diane and Chloe Sevigny's character like
I
going
think,
back and forth with Elise, I believe her name
yeah,
is.
Elise, yeah, yeah,
Elise were kind of going back and forth with each other. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of liking this power dynamic. I like the kind of like double agent mentality. But then they would just do like, because when I was talking about the Hellfire Club, like right in the middle of the movie, like right towards like the end of the movie, like Diane goes on to the Hellfire Club, and it turns out the Hellfire Club is real torture porn.
yes,
And
yeah, yeah. You pay
it's like,
money to watch women be tortured.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ugh, like I would, because they that again is super super long, and it's just like these
Yes.
women just being assaulted and tied up to bed frames and like
Hmm.
all this stuff, and it's just like really gross stuff. And I like, it's just like, then it's like, okay, you lost me again type of thing. Like I was getting
Yeah.
into it a little bit, and now you made me lose any type of favorability I liked with this.
Yeah, because like it could have been shown quickly, maybe a montage of something. Like, I mean, I understand that it has to be there to prove a point, but you're right. It just like it's like comically long, like because like it's like almost a slideshow. She watches a clip, it shows it cuts to her eyes, and then it just slide showing to another clip, and it does this like 5 times maybe, and it's just it's egregious, and I get that's the point of the movie, but that doesn't mean that it's an enjoyable experience. Like, I guess enjoyable is not the right word, but I don't think I got anything out of it, I guess.
Well, like, so I guess a good example for me. So this is a movie that you and I have both seen, I believe. The movie Hardcore with George C. Scott,
Oh yes, yeah.
and the thing that happens in that movie is that he finds out that his daughter went into a life of pornography, and there's a scene in the movie where he actually watches a movie like that has his daughter in it, and it's played to be, you know, super straight, super serious. We don't see what's on the screen, but just like him reacting
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
to that scene is like enough for it's like, okay, I'm getting that this is really horrific stuff and it's really shocking. I mean, I think I could have gotten the same amount if they just showed Diane's face being like, oh whoa, like wow, like I can't believe that. Like, but these a lot of these characters don't really emote all that much either.
No,
It's
it's like
they
watching Drive.
yeah, exactly. She said, and they do drive later in the movie.
They do drive, that is true. But no, and I agree. She watches all of this with like the most blank expression on her face. It's just like uninteresting.
Well, because they're watching the Japanese hentai, they don't really react that well. In fact, one of the guys and there's like making a joke or whatever,
Yeah.
and then
And then
after
the Japanese guy, like, don't you know this is art? Come on.
right, and
Hmm.
then after that, it's like then she goes home, then she goes to the hotel and watches a porno scene, and then
Hmm.
he's watching a porno at his in his hotel room, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, we get it. Like,
I think, you know what's funny? There's a couple scenes like this where they show like them watching porn, but they show Elise there playing a video game, and she's actually playing Oni, which is a Rockstar video game for the PS2. I'm watching and like, there's much worse choices. You could another Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto. The game she's playing, I was like, oh, this looks pretty tame in comparison to some other games. But she's playing it naked too, by the way. She's playing her PS2 completely naked.
yeah, why wasn't she playing Tomb Raider?
I That would have made more sense, right? Or an X-Men game, or the Avengers even.
Oh, well, they do. There is an Avengers reference in this movie.
Yes, there is. Yep, yeah. Um, See, I think this movie really picks up in its ending. But what sucks, I think it really ties everything together. But it's only the tail end of this movie. It's like all build up to this, and then it's like you really didn't do anything with it because, you know, come to find out, Diane, she gets drugged. She kind of gets blackmailed into being part of the torture website, the Hellfire Club. She gets kidnapped by Elise, and she wakes up and she's dressed up like Diane Rigg. She's even got photos next to her from the Avengers. She's got her hair like her and everything.
And you're
Uh,
like, on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
yes, yes. I was like, oh my god, it's Tracy, but no, I don't think that's it. Um, but yeah, I guess like come to find out, the way this website works is you just type in your fantasy exactly, and they'll just give it to you.
I well, this is again much later in the movie, but there's like a scene where like a teenager, is like on the Hellfire Club. He's typing, and it's like, I want to see Sora of the X-Men. I want to see her lose her powers, get tied to a bed. It's like,
And then like his mom's in the other, like, hey, your friend's calling. And he's like, oh, dang it. Could you? He stole his dad's credit card. His dad's gonna find out what he's doing eventually.
yeah. What's the Hellfire Club? Let me look that up.
Oh, I know exactly what that is. But I just think it's so funny that it's the way it's written in the movie. He writes out Storm from the X-Men, which I think just, I guess, silly
He uses his
idea.
full name, Zora Storm.
Yeah, which is, he's a real fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kind of, that's the ending of the movie. We do get to see Diane's like kind of what she ends up being, and she just ends up becoming a slave wearing like full BDSM gear. It's a really depressing ending, like horrible.
I think I would have taken the murder charges.
Yeah, exactly. Over that, like, good lord. Yeah, and she's just like, "Oh, I have no choice. I can't go to prison," even though she's like a slave
I
now.
yeah, I'd love to say I think I would take prison over being a slave.
Yeah. And I know it's supposed to be horrifying, but I really thought it was funny that the final shot is the teenage boy playing with like, or not playing, but like doing his homework, maths. I think he's looking at a fake DNA strand, and it
Yeah.
zooms out and or zooms into the computer screen of someone dressed as Storm crying. It doesn't really look like Storm. And
Was that Diane?
I don't think, not in the final shot, was it?
No. I don't
Because
maybe
I
not.
I think it would make more sense if it was, but it didn't look like her. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. But yeah, but yeah, he's just totally nonchalant, like this poor girl is just like crying. He's just like, I'll just like play with this DNA model.
Yeah, and it's like, are you serious? Like, come on. I mean, I get the point, but I don't know. I guess I feel wishy washy about this movie. I don't think there's a lot to really love about it. I think there's an interesting idea there, but hidden under a lot of uninteresting elements, in my opinion.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah,
I just, like
yeah.
I said, like a lot more bad than good. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
I because I was like, oh, starting to get into the plot a little bit, like I said, like after the halfway point, but it takes way too long to get there, and by the time they start whatever goodwill they started building up, they immediately washed it away with something else, and
Yeah.
I I really can't say I would watch this one again.
No, never. I have no desire to see this one again. I wouldn't really recommend it. Um, but the real question is, do you think Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune would have liked this?
Well, Roger, I just watched this movie and this movie was fantastic. Just
Uh-huh. What are you talking about? Actually,
yeah,
Roger Ebert was mixed on this movie. That was, I think it got a 2.5.
yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is maybe a little higher than it should have gotten from him.
maybe a little bit. But yeah, it's really hard
Yeah.
to talk about because I mean, it's like I said, it's a very dialogue heavy movie in the first half and
Hmm.
a lot of ambiance. Like the movie does have like a good ambiance, like in a type of way. Like I do like the kind of the mood that it's setting a little bit, but
Yeah, and the music is really off-putting. It's done by Sonic Youth, actually, and you're right. It has a style to it. It's very grainy too. I think it was filmed on like, it feels like a digital movie. It feels like 2002.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's it for me. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Well, the one very last thing I'm going to say about the movie. Its biggest crime, Nathan, is that the kid at the very end of the movie had an American Godzilla poster from
I saw
1998.
that.
It's like
Yeah.
now they're just trying to make me mad.
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about it like this. This kid is an awful kid, right? He's paying to get women tortured. It would make sense that such an awful kid would have a Godzilla poster. I think it just fits the character, right?
It's a known fact that fans of the 1998 Godzilla movie love torture porn.
Yeah, they love Saw, Hostel, Hellfire Club. That's like their favorite things. That's why when you go on IMDb, it's like movies just like Godzilla 1998. Hostel Part Two, Hostel Part Three. So yeah, but
Fantastic.
fantastic. But yeah, I think that's where we can end this for today. This one's the not recommend. No,
Oh, I
no.
give it a recommend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you want to torture our audience, don't you? Make sure to send video
if I
clips of you watching
if I
it.
have to watch it, you have to watch it.
My fantasy is to have someone sit and watch Demonlover for 2 hours and enjoy it.
But no, in all seriousness, I do not recommend it, and I don't recommend. Not even as a curiosity for me. I wouldn't watch it. Recommend it.
Hmm. And you know what? That's okay. I You gotta have some bad ones, right? That's there can be you can't watch all good movies all the time.
Pair this one up with Overfiend, and you got a great double feature.
Yeah, you might feel horrible about yourself after. I wish Overfiend was in 3D. That's what I was thinking the whole time.
I don't know. I don't. You didn't watch the other two.
That's true. It might change. Who knows?
Please no.
All right, Overfiend next week. Got it. I'm just kidding. But Ryan, I think that wraps it up. What are we covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, you know how they say it's not safe to go in the water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about one of the biggest ocean movies of all time that features a shark. And let me tell you, it's Jaws.
Jaws? We're doing Jaws? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, well, this one's worse because it's going to be Cruel Jaws. This
Oh
one,
my God.
I thought the Spielberg movie Jaws was a little too nice.
Uh-huh.
So I said, I wonder what it'd be like if Jaws was cruel.
You know what? I thought the same thing. Not like angry Jaws, sad Jaws. I was like, cruel. I wonder what Cruel Jaws is like.
Well, you can see exactly what Cruel Jaws is like because we watched it over on Arrow's streaming service. You can actually go watch it on Tubi right now for free.
With that, but
you deserve some ads.
You do. You deserve some ads. You got to pay them something. But I'm excited to watch that. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to email us at driveindoublefeaturepodcast@gmail.com. Please, 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 any Demonlover fans out there, tell me why you love this movie. Send that to the email. You can also post at us over on X with the same details at DIDFpod. But until next time.
Adieu.